Welcome to Wire Guild. This is a quick make tutorial, and it's for a pair of stud earrings using beads. Now, as you can see, I've got two different sizes here for you to have a go at. I used about 3 to 4 inch of 20 gauge round wire, but this will often use scraps that you've got lying around, and then I'm going to show you how to do 4mm beads and 8, but you can use anything in between. So I've got my 4mm beads and some bits of wire, and I'm just going to take the end of this wire in my flat nose pliers and put a tiny little right hand bend on it. It just makes it into a little square ended. Then I can put my bead on it. Now this is a little Swarovski bead, and I want to show you what happens with these beads if you treat them badly. So if I put my pliers over the top of the bead and the wire and try and twist, did you hear that crack? That is the Swarovski bead just giving up the ghost and breaking. So get another bead. So this time get hold of the end that we've bent in and then ease this wire around. Can you see how I'm touching the tip of the wire, but I've still got my little straight bit. Now when I get my bead, where's the hole? Somewhere around there. Whoops. Let's just straighten that a little bit and make it bend a little further. You still have to be able to get in there and get the bead on. Just into one hole. It's not going all the way through the bead. If you go all the way through the bead, it's going to sort of poke out the other side and you're going to have a lumpy bit. So I'm just going into the hole. Go on. If you have any half drilled beads, it's really good for those as well, because you can just go in. Oh, you really don't want to go on, do you? These are fiddly at 4mm. So if I hold the bead, no I can't. I'm going to make that end a little bit more pronounced, so I've just made it a bit straighter. Come here, little bead, and just pop that. Now let's have another go. Pop that on there. There we go. And then I can start and roll the wire. Just going to push it in very gently. Remember what happens when you treat these roughly. So I'm just pushing that wire in. Then I'm going to hold where it goes into the bead with the pliers and then see if I can twist it over. If I can do it with my fingers, I would rather do it with my fingers, but it's really, this was a piece of scrap wire, so it's not totally soft. Whoops, careful. So just gripping that loop with the edge of my pliers, squeezing it in each time, gripping the edge, and slowly making the wire come around the bead, just holding the edge of the wire as my support, and go around. After I've got going, I can probably use my fingers. There we go. It's just, whoops. Can you hear that click of the pliers? That click is as my pliers slips off the round wire. So I know then that I'm being a little bit too hard with the pliers. I need to be more gentle, which is fiddly on such a tiny bead. However, they are worth it when they're done. They do look ever so pretty. If you're having trouble with the beads, the pliers, and getting them on, you could have a go with round nose instead of flat ended. So I'm just trying to hold everything together, and I'm just wrapping. I'm just going to use my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to group this wire together. Just a little nudge so that it all lays flat, just surrounding this little tiny Swarovski bead. Then gripping, I can pull that tail of the wire over the back of the bead so it lays across the middle of the bead. Now I'm going to do this at the wrong angle so you can see what I'm doing. I put the pliers on and I bent up. Now what you will do is you will put the pliers on that way and bend so this sticks out, because this is the point that's going to go back through your ear. Just get that nice and straight. I've got a little bit too much length, so we'll cut some of that off. But basically that is our little tiny stud earring. Let's just snip some of this off. There we go. That might be a bit too much. Oh well, it'll be okay. I'll wear them. I've only got very, very thin earlobes. And I'm just going to file this end down with a little file. I'm not filing it sharp or anything like that. What I'm doing is I'm just taking any rough edges off that the snips may have put there, or any edges from it being a perfectly flat cut. So I'm getting rid of those so that it will be comfortable to put through the piercing in an ear. There we go, make sure that's straight. Now usually what I do with these is these go in the tumbler to work harden the wire before I put a little one of these on. These are ear nuts. I prefer them to butterflies because they're like little rubber and they just go straight over the wire. They make a great little back to the earring. They're not noticeable and they'll sort of fit this size wire or the next size up. So 20 gauge, 18 gauge, 0.8 mil, 1 mil. It will go over those. I like these little ear nuts. So let's do the whole thing again. Nice little straight corner edge on the wire. Hold it while you ease your wire around so you've already got the circle started. Pop your bead onto that little prong that we made. Very, very gently pop that in. If you can use your fingers, do. If you can't, grip that corner where the wire is going into the bead. Centralize it. Grip again. Ease. Grip. Ease. Grip. Ease. So all you're doing is you're holding on to the only firm point that you've got, which happens to be your wire. And then you're just going to ease your wire around and around, and it makes a little, I suppose it's almost like a collet or a whoops, that's me pressing too hard, a rub over setting. If you find that you're doing these clicks a lot, you can use plastic jawed pliers so it doesn't mar your metal, or you can use, come here, like Tool Magic and dip your pliers in it. The only problem with Tool Magic is it tends to wear off quite quickly. I find it doesn't really matter. Any marks that I actually put on the wire with my pliers come off in the tumbler. So I'm going to grip there, bring the wire across the back of the bead. There we go. You see how I brought it across the middle of the back of the bead? And then I'm going to get hold of it and bend it at a right angle so that it makes the post of your stud earrings. Trim it at the same length as the other one, even though that one's a bit short. There we go, and just file that off. If you get I'm trying to think what they call them. It's like a cup with a rough surface on the inside, and it's just for doing the end of wires, and it's absolutely brilliant for doing these. I have one somewhere, but I think my son's stolen it, so I couldn't lay my hands on it right now. Let's just put the other little ear nut on, and there you have a very, very sweet dainty pair of earrings. Sell great if you use the birthstone colours, and they're one of those nice things that if you're selling, that you'll sell lots of these. So I'll do a bigger one for you. Obviously the point on this can be much larger because it's a bigger bead. This is a very lively 8mm bead, and as you can see, this is so much easier than doing the 4mm. I've got a little bit more wire here. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 3.5, 4 inches, which will be going up to 10 centimetres, I think, in centimetres. I've pressed the wire in to make sure it's safe. I've gone around. Ideally, you want to be going round at least 2, if not 3 times. If you want to make a feature out of the wire going round, that's fine, you can do that. Make sure your wires stay together, and then I'm just bringing them to the back of the earring, across the back of the bead, and then I'm going to bend the wire up to create the post. Just straighten that up. There we go, that's too long, so let's trim that off. There we are. I don't know exactly what the length is of a normal stud earring. I would have to sort of, you know, take a standard pair out and have a look. I'm really not sure. It's probably about 1 centimetre, which is probably just over 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch or so. But I'm sure everybody's got a pair lying around they can have a look at. So bead nut on the back, and you've got one earring. Now I'll make the other one, but I'll just whiz this one because you've already seen me do it 3 times now. I'm sure you've got the idea. So let's just whiz that round and round. Like I said, tumble them to work hard on the metal. If you don't have a tumbler, I would suggest gently getting a hammer, if you have one, and just tapping the post of the ear very gently, just to firm them up. So I've got 2 pairs of stud earrings, nice and easy to do, whichever size you prefer. That's the 4mm and that's the 8mm, so anything in between is great. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you very much for watching. Happy wrapping.